I'm Tom, co-founder of Bappo, and tonight we're going to talk pretty briefly about low-code citizen developers and React freelancing. So I'm going to start by giving just a brief overview of Bappo. You've probably seen some t-shirts floating around. Then William's going to hop up and we're going to do a brief demo. If we've got time, then Hernus is going to jump up and talk about how low-code will affect developers in our tech stack as well. So who has heard of the term citizen developer before? Has anyone heard of this term before? One hand down the front, awesome. So a citizen developer is an intelligent, non-technical business person who creates software without coding. So a citizen developer could be your savvy entrepreneur who spends hours fiddling around with Zapier, trying to get like some webhook to send an automated invoice out to a customer, triggered by a Slack message. That could be a citizen developer. Or a citizen developer could be a mid-level exec at some corporation who needs some software solution by the end of the month, so they opt to use QuickBase or OutSystems or Salesforce to try and get something to accelerate the development process. So that's what a citizen developer is. And we've seen this trend where businesses are no longer happy to wait months and months to get a software solution and they're paid heaps and heaps of money for, and then send it back for multiple iterations to some developers offshore. We've seen more and more demand for immediate and fast iterations. And that's the story with web development, right? I mean, WordPress nearly powers a third of the whole internet. And we're seeing more and more drag and drop website builders like Squarespace. I mean, they sponsor like every podcast I listen to. They're getting pretty huge. So it's this citizen developer that we have in mind. Someone who wants to do it themselves. Someone who thinks they know all about it and they want to be in control of the development process. So Bappo's mission is to speed up the process of developing business software, but it's also to make the business person feel in control of the development process. So to developers like you guys, we describe Bappo as a React-based low-code development platform, but to the non-technical business person, we simply describe Bappo as a software or app-making platform. All right, so we're going to run through a common use case of Bappo so you can just get an idea, a sense, a feel what it's like. So in its most primitive form, Bappo is a database creation tool. So you're creating sort of database style business apps like CRM tools, HR tools, things like that. So say it's a CRM, someone's going to come and they're going to create some objects like customers, invoices, clients, going to add some fields to them, text, attachments, lists. Then create relationships between them, quite simple, using simple database logic like one customer connects to many invoices and stuff like that. So within minutes and for free, a non-technical person can create a simple business app. And out of the box is also an inbuilt chat tool to speak to people inside your platform, your organization, and also to invite people externally to come and communicate with you inside the platform. And there's also a Zapier connection so you can integrate with all those common business apps. So this use case encapsulates our three guiding pillars of stability, simplicity, and speed. We purposely haven't packed our platform full of a whole stack of features. Rather, we've made our user experience quite frictionless. We've optimized for fast server response times and fast front-end rendering. So we have a simple little platform on the surface where you can make simple little business apps. But what about more complex things? Well, that's actually where our React low-code tool comes in. So William's going to come, and we're going to look at a demo. Live demo is always really risky, but we'll see how we go. All right, so this is our screen. So you can just create a new app. Going to create a Kanban tool. K-A-N, B-A-N. Oh yeah, thanks, man. All right, so I'm just going to create some simple objects like customers, contacts. All right, then I'm just going to add a relationship between them. Done this in the right order, right, this time? Yeah, awesome. All right, then I can go and create fields if I want to. I won't. then you can go and start adding records to it and stuff like that. But we're really here for React, so we're going to make a Kanban tool live using React. So I'm going to hand over to William, who's going to do that. Talk quietly amongst yourselves. Pretty far off the dad.
So hi everyone, my name's William. So I'm going to show you this app that I've created called Kanban Demo. So this is an issue tracking app. So you guys must be using things like Jira or Accessoft. So with this app, this is built without any code. So inside you can look at your list of issues. You can click on it to see the details. You can chat about it. Yeah. So, but but we want something more user-friendly than just a plain list of things. So that's why I want to build a Kanban. Then you'll be able to see your issues like nicely grouped into columns. Yeah, and that we can do that by writing some React code. So I've created this page called Kanban, and this is just showing Hello World for now as a placeholder. And I'm going to launch the online editor on Bappo. So we built this editor for us to test React components, or you can just use it as a JavaScript playground, which is always handy. Yeah, that's the Hello World you just saw. And I'm going to change it to Hello React Meetup. Hey. And it refreshes immediately on the right-hand side, which is cool. So now we can start building our Kanban. So a Kanban is, well, a board of lists. And in each list, it shows you issues for one particular status. So I'm going to add the list, status name, could be like new or in progress. And I'm going to pass on an array of issues, which comes from local state. And I need to import some components that I've written beforehand, just to save us some time. Yeah, and these components are, there's no magic inside. They're just style components. We all love style components, right? And yeah, and you can see that we've got an empty board with no issues. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, I'm actually going to name that all issues. And so, but we do have some issues in our database, so I need to get that by doing an API call or something. But I'm going to do that in component.db mount, and I'm going to do something that's a bit unusual. So I'm getting this weird prop called $models from this.props. And I'm getting issues by calling models.issue.final. So if you're familiar with things like Sequelize or Mongoose, these kind of ORMs, this should look very familiar to you. So I'm just getting data as if I'm talking to the database directly. And I'm going to save that in local state. And we got our issues inside. So, but it's not very helpful that everything is just in one list. So I'm going to split them up into different columns, but I'm just going to cheat a little bit and copy some code. And we have a nice looking Kanban. That's not the point, because I'm going to show you in the actual app. So remember, that's my Kanban, and now it renders in the app, and I can still navigate around. Now here comes something that's interesting. I have this iOS simulator, which is huge. Just going to make it a bit smaller. Yeah, and I have the Bappo native app installed. And you can see our Kanban demo. And if I go to the Kanban, I see the Kanban inside a mobile device. So, and this is actually not the web, because we're using React Native to render the code. And that means you can just write code once, and Bappo can handle rendering onto different platforms. And you can see that it feels very native, like the bouncing and the animation when you navigate. Yep, that's the end of the demo.
Yes, sure. Thanks, William. I'll just hold both. Yeah, I didn't think I'll have to speak because I thought we were going to run out of our 20 minutes. But we do have some extra slides. So I thought I'd just talk about, somebody asked me just before we walked in, what is a low-code platform? So that is a term that some of you might be familiar with and some not. But Gartner or Forrester predicts that low-code platforms are going to develop from a $3 billion industry to a $15 billion industry over the next 3 to 4 years. So they reckon there's an explosion happening. And just like websites where people believe that they couldn't develop their own websites, and today every kid, whether they're 10 years old or 60 years old, believe they can create their own website. Low-code platforms is also a reality, something where soon people will believe they can create their own business applications. So that's the future, and the question I guess we're going to ask soon on one of the next slides is this a threat or opportunity to developers? But if you go to the previous slide, Tom. Yeah, this one. So we saw this very interesting advert the other day. Somebody says, we need this app to create it quickly. You can read all of that if you want. But we're looking for a developer, but you've got to have experience in low-code platforms. They're actually not specifying the low-code platform. They just say this needs to be done on a low-code platform. And then they explain why. And they say this needs to be done ASAP, between a month or two. And it's quite a serious application. So that is sort of the requests that we're already starting to see from normal people. And there's going to be more of that. So what we thought at Bappo, we looked at a lot of companies out there that's got low-code platforms. They even start calling it no-code platform. So it's this driverless cars, that kind of stuff, and say, okay, we don't need developers anymore. We just don't see that happening because the tech world is just changing too fast, and you can't stay ahead by taking developers out of the picture. So we thought rather develop a platform that's extremely developer friendly, that actually help developers and create stuff a lot faster and actually add a lot more value than we could in the past. So we just move on to the next slide. So we honestly believe this is actually a big opportunity if we can get the right kind of low-code platforms into the market. So why we believe it's an opportunity is the trend is that people don't want customers don't want to pay for hourly rates anymore. They actually want results. So if you could produce a result in 2 days as opposed to 20 days or 20 months, that's obviously adding a lot of value to what you can do. That's adding value really. Focus on adding value as opposed to coding authentication system or security system, or spending lots of time on AWS and things like that. And the other thing that the trend that's very, very clear is that if a developer specializes on specific business problems, their salary will double. So if you become an expert in a specific business problem, like you're really, really good with financial forecasting, or you're extremely good with time management or something like that, customers would talk to you and say, hey, we talk the same language, I'll pay you double as much. So if you don't have to spend a lot of time getting platforms up and running, and you focus on very specific business problems, then you just become a lot more valuable and a lot more relevant. So, and what is at the end of the day better for the client is better for you. So as Tom mentioned, the whole idea here is that make the customer feel like they're in control. We're a long way off from driverless cars, and we're a long way off from no-code platforms, I believe. I just think this is something that our dream is actually to get business people and tech people to collaborate like they've never done before, and to iterate like they've never done before, and that's the whole idea. So, and the other great thing about this is you only need to know React. I mean, I think there's another slide we have, Tom. Yeah, who's seen this? The web developer. Yeah, a lot of you guys seen this. There's a few slides. It says this is all the stuff you need to learn if you, as a one-man band, want to create an application. Now, not all of this you need to know everything. Some of that you can choose, but there's a lot of stuff. So what if you don't have time to learn all of that? Or what if you do know it, but now you need to relearn a lot of it because things are changing? And what if you know all of that? Where are you going to find the time to build all of that if customer says you've got 4 weeks and this is your budget? So that's pretty much it. So just one last thing, I thought something very interesting, our stack. So this is a tool that's built for citizen developers, and it's also built for React developers. But it's built by React developers. So this is our stack. We have web frontend is actually React with Redux. Our mobile frontend is React native with Redux. Our API server is Node. Nothing special there. Our socket server that we run separately because we're quite strong on continuous delivery. We push features every day. We haven't gone live, by the way. We're going live in about 8 weeks' time. But we're already pushing changes every day, and we're gonna continue with that. So we're doing continuous delivery there, but we don't want to lose our socket connection. So we're running our socket server separately, and so we can actually push changes through, completely rebuild our node servers, reboot them up, point to different bundle files, but keep the socket connection. So that's our strategy there. In terms of data, we're running Mongo.db and Postgress. So, I mean, there's always this debate about choosing between document database and relational, and at the end of the day, it's quite simple. We store documents in document database, and we store relational stuff in relation database, and that's working really well. Files in S3, key stores, readers, and then we use Elasticsearch for 2 things. We do our searches there, and we also do it for reporting. So we would aggregate data, for instance, things like that, so to speed up reporting. And that's pretty much our stack. It's not a fairly super complex stack, but as you guys know, it takes a long while to get to your desired stack. And we're really pleased with the way React's turning out. We think it's a wonderful technology. We're really pleased. We come from Ruby on Rails. Our first version was built on Ruby on Rails, and we actually had to stop that and restart. And I think we've got a really great stack now. Developing in React on top of this tool that's built with React, it's actually working out really well as well. So we're launching in about 8 weeks' time, so feel free to go to our website and sign up to see what's happening in our space. Thanks a lot, guys.